The information you've shared is quite powerful, and a lot of people might go through the exact same thing about wanting to quit from their job. Then they have these two mindsets. The conservative survival mode, no, you need the job, keep it. And the other one that wants more. I feel the jump that you made is a bold move, because I'm glad things worked out for you. But there would have been a high chance that things could have gone the other way.
My other mind is saying, listen, bro, you have to stick to this job. It is you. You're an accountant. You're doing a chartered accountancy. This is you. You're made for this. Remember, you want to be an accountant. But the other mind is saying, look, bro, you're made better than this. You can do better than this. Right? You are made to be different. You arrived in this country. You alone, £0 on your name. You can't speak English. You get to be in a foster home. You went to college, learn English, university, you got a degree. You can do better than this.
How many rejections had you already encountered?
I lost count, man. More than 1,000, maybe 2,000. I'm telling you now.
But don't you think that being an entrepreneur is a different level of stress and different level of work?
Most people are visionaries, right? Because basically, you are looking for the long term.
Rahim, thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're
Definitely,
welcome.
You have achieved a level of success that many people would want to achieve that in a level of lifetime.
Yeah.
And you've come from nothing. You came from Africa to UK not knowing how to even speak English, forget having money as well. And today you're so well experienced into whether it's rent-to-rents or HMO, service accommodation, property developments. You have your own estate agency as well, and now you're a mentor as well.
Yeah.
So it's a high level of achievement. But I'm curious to know what was the inspiration behind you starting from nothing into what you have achieved today? What was that inspiration for you?
Look, Abbas, thanks very much for inviting me in your podcast. It's amazing. I love the office. I like the color theme. It looks absolutely beautiful. Thank you for inviting me. And it's been an amazing journey. And it is a journey that I'm really grateful for, and I appreciate it as well. I also commend the people I've been working with. And I did struggle to get the jobs as well, to be honest. I applied everywhere, even considered changing my name. Seriously, I did. Because I thought maybe it's because of my name, people are not employing me and all that sort of thing. And what I did a strategy. I said, okay, how about if I apply for a job in Birmingham? Because maybe they familiar themselves with the name Rahim, and no heatings, nothing like that.
No way.
Seriously, no heating, nothing. And you have to go through the alleyway to get to the property. There's no door for it.
Wow.
I lived there for a few years and working in one of the biggest investment firms in the world. I think they were second when I was working there, and they're in Broad Street. Anyone who knows Broad Street? Just after the library. And they used to have an office there. And keeping on, did not give up. But something also happened at that point. And I used to work in the business management department, right? We used to manage everything to do with the corporations. And my department was to cut costs down, right? So we saved the bank lots of money. We started moving some of the jobs from the UK to India, Ireland, places like that. I think we saved the bank about 2.5 billion at that point. Only for them to turn around, we're going to ask your department as well. We helped them save all that money only to kick us out. Right? And then I moved on to another department, tax department. But I started learning things there. The thing I was learning is nothing to do with university. It's like my managers, like when you work for a corporation, they've got analysts, they have senior analysts, they have associate, they have VP and vice president. You may familiar yourself to this. But I've realized they're all on maybe 40 to 50,000 pounds back then. But what I start realizing is basically they were living paycheck to paycheck.
And how old were you then?
And then I think I was about maybe 21 or maybe 22, just finished uni, maybe 22, 23. And then after the month end, they're all back in borrowing money from each other, spending all of it. And I said, I need to move on. I moved on, then moved to the city. Started working for a packaging firm there, City London. Again, start to make things work because we've always been told, go to university, get a degree, life will be amazing. Right? But I wasn't seeing that amazing life. And I moved to this company. My manager works ridiculous long hours. She's traveling countries to countries. And I was doing my chartered accountancy back then. Then I was like, okay, I've done all the exams. I only got 2 papers left. And then I asked the director then. I had the opportunity to sit with the director, like FTSE 100, right? I'm thinking, whoa, this guy going to give me lots of information. Sat with him like we do right now. I was like, look, Rose, if I was to, what does the qualification does to you? Like if I got my CMA or a chartered accountancy, he said, listen, this is just to get you through the doors. I asked him then, what did you implement? He said, I only implemented statistics. I said, that's it? That's all you implement, statistics? He said, yes, bro. Then I looked at it. I realized I was trained literally in all the jobs I'm doing, right? I realized even if you didn't go to uni, you could go do that job because you get trained to do it. And then I start thinking, you know what? Probably working for someone is just too hard, and there's so much politics. You have to kiss asses, like it was just too much for me. But I didn't have choice back then. I thought there's no alternative. Like literally, I was made for this, and so they then decided to close that department. They told me you got 2 options: either to go to Cardiff or to go to Brussels. And Brussels wasn't my cup of tea, and I said, you know what? I'll try Cardiff. And I never knew Cardiff. I know Wales, but I never know there's a place called Cardiff. I did a little research. It's in the United Kingdom. So why not move to Wales? I moved to Wales again. Same thing. It's like coming from here, going there, because I was in the service support center. And then again, all this work politics, kissing asses, and I was managing 240 sites. And I was the only one who knows what was going on. The guy that I assumed that role from has moved back to Poland. So I've got my manager who cannot help me, and I'm stuck in that kind of doing that job. And I'll try to give it my all. I used to go to work from 8 to 6 p.m. almost 6 days a week, bro, trying to just help. But what really triggers me to get to do these things, apart from being told degree's not going to help me, apart from seeing my manager working ridiculously serious hours, is when I got back to Africa, got married, came back. I wasn't able to go to work when I arrived on a Wednesday because I got ill. And I turned up on a Monday. My manager had a rant at me. She's a very, I would say, strict lady. I can hear her walking through the stairs, coming upstairs. The closer she gets, the louder the sound of the fits. And I saw her open the door, staring right in front of my eyes, literally piercing on me, wearing this nice pressed skirt, and she got her shoes. And she looks like Sharon Osbourne's lookalike, right? And I said, Rahim, I need to talk to you. Come to the office now. And like this open floor plan offices, we've got these see-through windows, right? In that little office, everybody can see you guys inside. She was ranting. Why did you not get here on time? Now we've got all this stuff to do. You need to get it done. You need to get all this stuff done. It's month end. And I don't believe you arrived on Wednesday. You're just making excuses. You arrived on Saturday. I was like, no, not Saturday. I arrived on Wednesday. No. She said, okay, go and get your ticket. I need to see the proof. I opened that door, looking at that lady, looking at myself. Oh, I said, wow. Is this what life is all about? I was told to go to uni, get a degree, so I can be financially free, take my own life, do things the time and place I want them. Now this. Wow. But at that time, I have two minds. The other mind said, Rahim, you have to suck this in. One, you got married. Your wife is in Africa. You need to get her here, right? And you need to be earning a certain amount of money to be able to bring her here. But you just have to suck it in, bro. Suck it in. You're made for this. You're told to go to uni. You remember, that's what you've been told. Opened the door, got my ticket. Here's the ticket, Kelly. But by that time, Kelly had already rang HR to find out whether what I was saying was true. Because I rang HR and told her I wasn't going to be able to come in. Then she go, oh, Rahim, sorry. I rang HR. HR did say you arrived on Wednesday, but you couldn't make it because you're not feeling well. And at that point, was the lowest of the lowest. And I had to be submissive. I said, I hear you, Kelly. I hear you. I'm here to serve the company. And I will do what you've asked me to do. And yeah, so it was a very emotional time, to be honest. I even feel like crying saying that. And I opened that door. We have 70 people on the shop floor, or on the office floor. Everybody passing through me. Sat there. I did a job that I was meant to do for a week in one day. I was there until 9 p.m. doing it, did all the reports. Driving back home, my other mind is saying, listen, bro, you have to stick to this job. It is you. You're an accountant. You're doing a chartered accountancy. This is you. You're made for this. You remember, you want to be an accountant. But the other mind is saying, look, bro, you're made better than this. You can do better than this, right? You are made to be different. You arrived in this country. You alone, £0 on your name. You can't speak English. You get to be in a foster home. You went to college, you learn English, university, you got a degree. You can do better than this. And you remember you started your business at the age 17, right? You can do this. That's what my other mind is saying. I opened this door, living in a 9-bedroom house. As you open the door, the smell of that property, right? Dirty, messy and everything. As I open the fridge, you can smell that fridge. On the right-hand side, you got a garbage full of rubbish. On the right-hand side, you got the dining table. People have this messy plates, everything. Walked into my room, small room, double bed there, double room, get your desk, filthy, smelling nice. And then my man said, yeah, now you want to quit your job. Look where you are. Why would you want to quit your job now? Why? But from that day, I made a decision that from that day, actually, from that hour, from that minute, from that second, I looked at my current situation, where I was living and where I am working. I made a decision to take my finances into my own hands instead of relying on my employers or the government. I made a promise to myself to work, get my wife in this country, and quit. That's it. So, because I just got married, put all the papers together, applied for stuff. She arrived. A couple of days later, I said, look, this is what I want to do. What do you think? She said, listen, bro, I'm here because I love you. So you can do whatever you want. Wrote that letter. Called my manager then said, look, here's the letter. I'm quitting. And I didn't even tell her. I said, here's the letter. Why are you giving me a letter? You know, they're so arrogant, like shouting at me. Like, you know, like, have you ever been in a situation where you're in a job where you're undervalued and appreciated, going nowhere, and whatever you do, people pick it on it? That's how I felt at that point. I gave her a letter and she's shouting. I'm thinking, why are you shouting? Right? Went there, she read the letter and she realized I was leaving. And because it's private and confidential, she's not allowed to tell other people. So on a Friday, we go and play football. I had a friend of mine call Mike. I said, Mike, I'm quitting, but don't tell anybody. Right? He said, okay, no worries. But he said, Rahim, do you know what you're doing? Like, yeah. Your wife just arrived in this country. She barely speaks English. She's pregnant. You live in a shared house. And you're thinking of quitting. Is that the right thing to do? Have you thought this through? I said, yes, I'm gone. Basically, bro, I cannot stand this time. Mike, as soon as we get to the field, he told everybody in the pitch, Rahim is quitting, Rahim is quitting. I was like, what the hell? So then I got no choice. Now I have to quit, right? I went then to the next Monday, I went to my manager. I told my manager, look, bro, I want to quit. Is there a way I could actually, because I was working so long, I have over 80 hours banked. I'm not sure if you work for corporate world, right? When you do overtime, they bank your hours so that you could use them when you need it. I have over 80 hours. I went to HR, I said, look, HR, I want to leave earlier. Is it okay for me to use my banked hours to quit quicker? They looked at it and said, yes, I had 3 weeks. And then obviously, what I did basically is to make sure I burn the bridges, right? I made sure I burned that bridge because I never ever want to work for anybody in my entire life, right? I burned those bridges to make sure they're not going to do me reference. They're not going to do anything again because I'm out. I left the office, the building, working. I never had a card to say thank you for your job. I never had any appreciation. I left, and it wasn't always easy, but I was able to, because I made the decision to take my finance into my own hands instead of relying on anybody else, I knew it was going to be tough. It's like it's like taking a boat to an island and you burn the boat. That's what I did basically. I burned that boat. I told myself I'm gonna survive in that fucking island. Right? I met with cobras, lions, tigers. It went hard, really, really hard. And I used to like live in baby's formula milk, like me and my wife, because it went really tough. And not having money, families did not know, and they always think things are great. We got our first property, second property, third property, and I was able to build that to a multi-million-pound property portfolio that generates over 7 figures. That then allow us to live life in our own terms. Now we have an estate agency, a renovation company, a development company, and we have now help professionals to use the blueprint we use to get into a property. But back, why am I digressing there a little bit? Because everybody has their journey. I'm not saying go quit your job today and get into property, but everybody has the way they can do stuff. But for me, why I did it is because I wanted to take my finances into my own hands. I want to determine when I can go on holiday, how I can go on holiday, not having to take a permission from someone to go on holiday. And I hated working for people. I don't see how people are able to do it for 40, 50 years. I can only do it for 3 years, right? It was really difficult. So in essence, I wanted to take my finances into my own hands. So what I tell people is if I can do it from being an immigrant from this country, in this country to now doing what I'm doing, everybody can do it. It's the mindset, as we said earlier on, and looking for places where you can add value. So in essence, to answer your question, sorry I digressed a little bit, it's about you having a why and wanting to control your own destiny.
The information you've shared is quite powerful, and a lot of people might go through the exact same thing about wanting to quit from their job. And then they have these two mindsets. The conservative survival mode, no, you need the job, keep it. Mm-hmm. And the other one that wants more. Mm-hmm. I feel the jump that you made is a bold move because I'm glad things worked out for you. Mm-hmm. But there would have been a high chance that things could have gone the other way.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, for a lot of people, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, it did to me. I'm going to be honest with you because as I said, we were living on my child's benefit. Like if you got children, you got something called child benefit. That's what I was living on, right? With my wife. And if you're African, you've got something we call Gary. We used to have that with Gary as well. So it was at a point where it went so hard, I had shingles. Shingles is caused by stress. When you're so stressed, like chickenpox, right? The right side of my arm here got shingles as a result of stress. And I took a laptop, wanted to apply for a job because it was at that point. Literally, my wife, African ladies, they used to husband going out, working, coming back. You get what I mean? Every morning she saw me hugging this laptop. Like literally, you always sat here with your laptop, you don't do anything. What's going on, right? I used to go to coffee shops now, start working. I use all the coffee shops in Cardiff until I almost get banned. I used to go to Tesco's now because Tesco's got coffee shops, right? But it get to that point where I wanted to apply back because it was going hard, really, really hard. And I took the laptop, started looking. I went to Indeed, Total Jobs, and I whacked the laptop down. I said, no, I will never go back to working for people. You see, at that point, at that very second, at that very, very many seconds, is when the differences happen. Not knowing I was about to hit a pot of gold. Literally, pot of gold. Not knowing, like an entrepreneur, you do so many work behind closed doors. People don't know this. You be working hard, no results are coming your way, lots of objection, lots of stuff. Believe me or not, Abbas, 3 days later, I was able to secure 6 deals.
Wow.
I was about to go back to the rat race, right? But because I made that, just whacked that laptop down, I said, no, I'm there. I continue. This is where lots of people then give up. Not knowing the time you're about to give up may be a seconds away from achieving what you set yourself to achieve. But if you don't maintain the consistency, persistence, and perseverance, make sure, tell yourself, no matter what, you'll do it, you'll give up. Then, because the way the mind works, it always looks for the easier option. right? But if you're able to manipulate your mind to say, listen, no matter what, I want to achieve this, you can do it, because the mind doesn't distinguish what's real and what's fake. You have to feed it whatever you want to feed it. I can give you an example, lots of examples. Like this table here we're sitting on right now, put my hands there. It used to be someone else's dream. It used to be a dream. Nobody knew about table, but someone had a dream, visualize it, make it, fake it, and then make it real. And today, we're using it, right? So that's what the mind doesn't do. If you're able to control your mind to think that way, you will be able to achieve your dreams. But people give up when it goes really, really tough. And they say, oh, this is not for me. And they bug off. I nearly did that. So, yeah, so that's what happened, basically. I do understand. I do get that point.
And you mentioned about education earlier on. Don't want to go off topic, but I think it's so relevant today that a lot of people come out of university with a massive debt, looking for a job that may not even be there decades later. Mm-hmm. Do you think in today's generation, people should be, is university the same? Does it provide the same value you think that it used to provide back in the day, a couple of decades ago?
Good question. I like that question. I've been asked this question for many times. University is not a bad thing. But I think if you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be a surgeon, if you're going to be anything to do with health, perhaps you want to go to university, right? If you have to. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a businessman, right? You want to dictate your own future, your own life. You want to do things on your own terms. Maybe university is not the best option. You might want to get someone like yourself, for example, that they can shadow, they can learn from, they can spend a day with. Because the beauty of that, someone can learn what you've done for 5 years in one day or maybe 1 month. They get better return on their investment than following the traditional route. Because I believe university is made to reduce the number of unemployed, right? Because there are lots of people, for myself, I walk out of university with 40 to 50,000 pounds debt, only to land myself 18,500 pounds job. You can jump on an investment training program or a property investment training program or whatever suit you. You get that return almost instantly, right? And it can 100x your income. Whereas when you go to uni, you get a degree, brilliant. You start hustling to get a job. If you're lucky, you get 30,000 pounds job. That if you are lucky. So I'm not saying don't go to uni. Some people are made to be employees, okay? We need them as well, to be honest, right? But if you really want to be a businessman, an entrepreneur, perhaps you want to look for someone who's higher than you, doing what you're doing, that you inspire to. Follow them, mentor, get them to mentor you. Even you have to work for them for free, because it would help you drastically when it comes to investment, because you would learn a lot than learning from a lecturer that's never worked in their entire life. All they will just to pass on what they've been passed on to you. And yes, for me, if you want to be an entrepreneur, definitely probably want to choose something else, not going to uni.
I think I totally agree with you, because you can leverage that time, the experience, and the mistakes they have made. Mm-hmm. But going back to your story where you mentioned you didn't want to work for someone else, yeah. I guess because you don't have passion, you don't enjoy that job maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel when you're an entrepreneur, you put in 3 times the amount of hours and work and stress and chaos in your mind and zoning out in family meetings, just thinking about what you want to do and how to tackle that problem, compared to having a job, which is still difficult. But don't you think that being an entrepreneur is a different level of stress and different level of work?
It is, absolutely. You're bang on there. You see, if you are an entrepreneur or want to become an entrepreneur, most people are visionaries, right? Because basically, you are looking for the long term, right? It's hard work, but that hard work is the first 2, 3, 5, maybe 10 years if you're a slow person. But after that, it expedites the process. You get better return on your investment, right? Because it compounds itself. But the thing most people do not realize is that you might not know that at that point. In fact, you're zoning out. Yeah, your family meeting, you're skipping and WhatsApp message, you cannot keep up with it because you're busy doing you, right? It's hard work. Of course, it's hard work, but the beauty of that, you determine your future. And the hard work you're putting that hard work in you. instead of putting that hard work to an employer. Is that making sense? Because end of the day, now where the technology is, you work 7 hours at work. Guess what? They've got your work phone and they've got your laptop, right? When your work phone beep, you saw a message. Guess what? You have to put that message in, right? It's a very clever way of making you work more than your 7-8 hours. But imagine if you invested that hours in you, right? You knowing that upfront is going to be hard, and knowing in 5-10 years you're in a different level, you might as well do that now, right? So entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. It's for people that are willing to literally work hard without getting the results straight away, and be perseverance and never have that give up mindset. Because sometimes you get to a point where, what's the point of doing all this, right? You just want to give up, man. Say, no, this is too hard, and you go then working for people, right? Which you got your 1,500, 2,000 pounds a month. You're comfortable. Guess what happened at that point? Your brain get dead because you stop thinking. You stop being you. You stop following. You start following certain rules because that's what makes you comfortable. And then when the company start bringing changes, you become uncomfortable because you're used to that path. And then that leads you to become a slave to your job because you don't want to change. Even your manager swear at you, curse you, just stick to it. And this is the reason why I tell people is that they are the biggest killer drugs in the world is employment. It is employment. I'll give you a reason why. What employment does to you is basically is get you to have your 2,000, 3,000 pounds, let's say 3,000 pounds a month. What that does, it gives you comfort to go to get a mortgage. And then once you've got your mortgage, you may, I want to get a car lease, right? You get your car lease, and then you want to get married, and you want to have kids. And then guess what now? That job becomes your drug. Because you know you got your mortgage, you got your leases. Even if your manager curse you, do whatever they will do to you, you're going to stick to that. So no matter what, you're going to be in that job because you're hooked. Because the thing about the addiction is, you're not the only person that's going to get addicted. The people around you are addicted indirectly because they're depending on you, aren't they? Right? You've got your car lease, you've got your mortgage, you've got your children to look after. So if you lost that job, the addiction goes around. That's the reason why I say it's one of the biggest killer drugs. Right? It kills your brain, get you comfortable, think you're secure, but actually and truly, you are losing a lot. Right? People then become comfortable, they have this lazy mind, don't work hard anymore, and then they get addicted to that, and no matter what you do to them, they're still stuck to that job. And they don't even want to change because they don't like the change.
That is so true. But I want to go back now
Yeah.
to how you secured your first property. Because I remember when I secured my first, it was the best day of my life. That thrill, that happiness that you finally did it after 1,000 rejections or more. I want to know how you secured yours.
Fantastic. Good question. So, how many minutes you got? I'm joking.
Go for it.
Right. So, how did I secure my first deal? So, how I secured my first deal was, before I secured my first deal, I used to live in a 9-bedroom HMO, maybe 13-bedroom HMO. But I was lucky enough to live with my landlord on the same floor. My landlord created himself a little kind of studio. So when I started looking into property, I told him, look, I've got this deal going. I'm looking for properties. You know why you can get a property without buying it? You know, it's one of those old school landlords, right? He goes like, you mad? Which landlord would allow you to actually rent their property and you subsequently rent it out? I said to him, there are landlords out there. I said, no. I said to him, okay, if I was to get a landlord who could do that, would you put the money in? In his head, it would never happen. He said to me, bro, if you can get someone to allow you to rent their property, sublet their property, I will put every single penny in it. I said, you sure? He said, yes. He said, it's a deal from me. Because he was literally believed I would never get that deal. Because in his head, it never happens. I said, fine, no problem. I went to work. Looking. Nothing happened, bro. Just. Right? First month gone, second month, fourth month, fifth month, sixth month.
How many rejections had you already encountered?
I lost count, man. More than 1,000, maybe 2,000. I'm telling you now. I got my first deal in my 7th month.
Damn.
And I never gave up one day. All those 7 months, I was on my laptop every single day.
I'm just trying to imagine the stress or the pressure that was backfiring maybe onto your wife. Do you think that was there?
It was there because, like, she's used to people going out, doing work, bringing something home, and I wasn't bringing anything home. Right? So, 7 months it took me. I landed that deal, and it's in a place called Cardiff. If you know Cardiff, it's in the opposite Principality Stadium, one of those Victorian buildings. 7-bedroom at the time. I met the gentleman. I said, look, I'm interested in taking on your property on a guaranteed rent basis. Told him all the stuff I need to tell him. And, he asked me questions. I answered the questions. He said to me, bro, as long as you can promise me the rent, you can have this property as long as you want. I said, yes? He said, yes. Fine, got a deal. I went to my landlord, then my actual landlord. I said, look, bro, I've got the property. He said, no, I don't believe. I need to speak to the landlord. I need to meet the landlord. Right? Because he didn't believe me. I said, okay, fine. So I rang the new landlord. I said, look, I've got my business partner who wants to meet you to understand how this thing is working. Is it okay for us to organize a meeting? Right? He said, fine. He said, actually, I'll bring my mom as well now because my mom needs to see you as well. I said, fine. So I made the meeting the next day because I didn't want him to have any cold feet. So I came round 6 o'clock in the evening, met him, met mommy. Mommy sits on the right, he sits on the left. They sandwiched us. Right? And then said, yes, I brought the contract with me because I don't want to mess about. And then we did everything. He said, yes. He asked the questions. Yes. Everything was fine. And then we signed the dotted line. But before we go, my current landlord asked the gentleman a question. He said, why did you allow this guy to take this property off you for £1,100 on a guaranteed rent basis? And that's it. Why? I said, look, since my dad passed away, I inherit this property. I work as a biochemist. I haven't got time to look after this property. I work seriously long hours, and I've never fully rented this property. So if he can offer me a guaranteed rent for 1,100, I'll take it all day long. I said, wow, really? He said, yes. Then we walked out. That time I didn't know what I was doing. I went, we realized he got 2 reception rooms and a massive sitting dining area and a smaller room upstairs. So I rang the council if we can extend the license. We extended to a 9-bedroom HMO. Furnished the property, rented it within a week.
How many bedrooms did it have?
7. Converted it into 9 bedrooms.
How much do you rent out each room?
We rent about maybe 380 to about £400.
Well, that's a good deal.
Yeah. So that property then generated us £1,950 net profit every single month. I was thinking, yes, really, is this true? When I saw the money in my account, I thought I did something wrong. I thought this is a mistake, right? And the landlord, we are on a 50-50 partnership. When he saw the money, he said, Rahim, this actually works, huh? I was like, yeah, of course it works. Just see the money, bro. Celebrated and happy about it. I was like, wow, this is our first deal, brilliant. He said, you know what? Let's go for the next one. He was more addicted to it now than me. Had the second one. But yeah, the first deal was amazing, bro. And I couldn't believe it, especially being 7 months, and before you get that deal, you get emotional, knowing that you haven't given up and you worked really hard to get it and you got it now. It's making £1,950 a month. And the beauty about that deal is that it taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson not to give up. I've got someone who said to me, look, they looked at me in my eyes. I'm not going to rent you my property because you're black. In my eyes. Right? Told me that. I'm thinking, one of my other mind is saying, don't do this, man. This is not for you. Go back to working. Right? Maybe that's what you're meant to be. The other mind is saying, don't give up, bro. This is going to be your journey. This is what you're going to be telling people, which is what I'm saying now. Right? And the funny thing, most people would have run away from that landlord. But what I did, I stayed with that landlord. I stay put. The reason why I stay put with that landlord is because I want to prove him wrong. Because he had the different perceptions for black people. You know, I stayed the course. Rang him again. Talked to him again. Keep keeping on. I said, listen, I need a property. So one day he said, because I told him I'm a Muslim, he invited me in his mosque. Right? Not knowing the mosque got CCTV cameras. He went to the office, observing me praying, seeing if I'm really praying properly. Right? And the funny thing is, the guy himself is not white. Right? He's from Asia. Right? And then he's discussed this with his wife, and his wife said, give him a chance. One property will not do you anything. Took on his first property. He saw what I did to the property. He gave me a second property, third property. Now I literally have over 8 of his properties. And he confessed all this to me now. I said, listen, bro, I told you you're black. That's why they want to ring you, but rent the property to you. Apologies. He apologized, say you should not judge a book by its cover. And that same person now called me a nephew. Right? When his children are getting married, he invite me, and one is his nephew. And things like that. So having that deal taught me lessons like that. You know, because you can get people saying no to you. You got people being racist to you. And you got people discriminating against you. But don't allow their opinion to become your reality. Because as soon as it becomes your reality, then you lose hope. You say, this is not for me. Because at that point, I would have run away from that landlord. Right? Say, no, this is it then. I'm not going to get anything. But I kept keeping on. I allowed that to be another objection that I can overcome. And to prove him wrong. So when someone like me or someone similar to me approached him, they got a different perception. Right? He's educated now. And now, I refer him to people that are my people. Now he respects those people. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Right? He's respecting those people. So these are the things you can learn. So I love my first deal. And I still love that person that gave me the opportunity and chance to make that happen. But yeah, your first deal, there's nothing sweeter than your first deal.
It's unforgettable, the first deal.
No.
And your story is so inspirational, just shows with compound effect. You just keep working for it. It will come. The time will come.
Yeah.
I want to know what you're doing now, because you started from nothing. It took you so much time and so much effort for you to get your first deal. You got it there. Now you're so well successful and established. You're into property development. You're doing refurbishment. You have your own estate agency. You still do rent to rents, and you're a mentor as well. Yeah. But where's majority of your focus? What's next for you?
My majority focus right now is to obviously continue with building my property portfolio. Letting where we are downgrading that a little bit. We're only taking on properties that are from our investors. And we're concentrating more on selling deals, a lot more, and development, renovations. That's where my focus is right now. And we've got programs within our programs where we would help an investor. We mentor them. We train them. We mentor them. We help them buy the property. They buy the property with our rules. And then we have a renovation company that does the renovation for them as well. If they ever want my estate agency to rent the property, we rent it out and hand the keys over to them, or get my estate agency to manage it. So that's what we're focusing on right now. And that is helping a lot of investors, especially doctors, nurses, lawyers, professionals that don't have time to actually get into this stuff. So that's where our energy is right now, focused very, very heavily. So and the renovation side of things as well, where we've just acquired 15 units that we're looking to renovate and develop and make it as 2 times 15 unit apartment.
For someone listening to this and thinks that this is the right thing for them, how much is the minimum investment they require to join you on board?
Minimum investment in what way? In buying properties, or?
To join your mentorship, learn from you, and then hopefully buy a property as well.
Well, to be honest with you, my programs is exclusive to certain members, and you have to go through an interview process, right? I know people may think I'm crazy doing that, but yeah, we'll have an interview process where we will look if you are a perfect fit. If you are a perfect fit, we don't have a specific amount. We look you based on your situation, and then we can steer you on the right direction. But what I'm currently just done, actually, it's good to ask this question, is that I have created a platform. You know, like when I started, 2 things I wanted to do, especially when I became homeless, is that I would make sure I provide homes for people who need it the most. The second promise I made when I went to this coaching program, people charging 15,000, 20,000, 35,000 for these coaching programs, property investment coaching programs. I made a promise to myself that once I've become okay, I will create a platform where people will go and self-educate themselves. So we just completed developing a website where people can go in, register for less than 2 cups of coffee a month, to learn property investment, how to start and scale, literally less than 2 cups of coffee a month. And they can learn how to start their own online businesses, side hustles, money mastery. They will also have Q&A sessions with me as well. They can ask questions on the platform. I answer the questions myself. And they have these fortnightly Zoom masterclasses as well, where they can sit with me, ask me questions, interact. And within that platform also, they can book a one-to-one session with me for completely free. They don't pay anything for it, where I can go through their strategies, what they want to involve, and give them some pointers. Because some people need that. Some people get put off because of these high fees property coaches are charging. So less than 2 cups of coffee, I think that's what the platform would allow me to charge, basically, because I have my administration costs and all that sort of thing. And I think it is an amazing platform, and it's called Rahim Bah's Club. It's rahimbah.com. Literally, money mastery, all the investment strategies, whatever you need to do with property is there in terms of renovation and all that sort of thing. And also we've got, if you want to do another business, for example, online business, how to trade on Amazon, how to start your eBay business, how to do money, how to make your money work a lot harder, different strategies, all that is there. But predominantly focuses in property investment. That's where we focus our energy. So if you want to go into properties and you haven't got money to pay 6,000, 7,000, or maybe 10,000, or maybe 20,000 pounds, that platform is there. And it's not edited as well. It's raw content, right? Behind the scene content as well. So that I'm not hiding anything, because it's not something I'm going to upsell you on, right? It's there for you to utilize it, control it, watch it whenever you want. So I think that's one of the things I promised to do. So thank God it's all done now. So the website is up and running. So if anybody interested, it's rahimbah.com.
That's really nice. Yeah. That's really nice. I'm sure the people would really appreciate that kind of content, because no one does that. Yeah. And for those who do, they charge ridiculous amounts of money.
You know that, bro. You know
so that. It's a good thing you're doing.
Yeah,
but coming back to property then, how do you source your deals? Because today, if you go onto the market, you'll find 3,000 properties. How do you find the right one for you to invest in?
So the way I do things, or the way I work with my investors, we have golden rules, right? And it's about focusing in one area, and not just in one area, but one strategy at a time. Mm-hmm. The mistake lots of people make is that they look at rent to rent today, they're on BRRR tomorrow, and they are on rent to SA the next day. So if you really want to get good deals, what we do, we focus in one area and with one specific strategy, right? And then we then go and look. So you may be asking which platforms you go. We go to the regular Rightmove platforms. We go to Zoopla, as anyone would do. We also have off-market deals coming to us by way of contacting people before the properties become available. And we have people that can give us this information, and also looking at properties that have been on the market for a very long time and see how you may be able to help landlords or homeowners sell their properties, or maybe rent their properties. But most importantly, we look at auction as well. Auction is what we look at, and we're able to buy properties way below market value. So these are the avenues we look at when we are looking to buy properties, but we're looking for properties that we can add value. What I tell the people I work with is that if you think of we, think of me. Meaning, I want dead properties. I want to walk into a property that everybody want to run away from, because I know that I can go and add my value through it. It gives me 2 benefits or 3 benefits. 1, I can go and convert it to whatever I want to convert it on. Secondly, I can add significant value in properties like that. And thirdly, I can buy below market. I'll buy it at discount. So, well, those are my strategies. And the other thing I do, or we do, is that we observe the mass and do the opposite. If everybody's in Birmingham messing about looking for properties, we are in Dudley. We are in Warsaw. We are in Coventry, Derby. If everybody's fighting in the city center, we are somewhere around the city center, not near you. Right? So yeah, so that's
I love that. Sorry to interrupt you. I love that. But don't you worry that everyone's looking at Birmingham, maybe because of all the regeneration schemes that are there. Mm-hmm. So it's some sort of a guarantee that in the next decade, property prices will double. Comparison to, let's say, Dudley or Walsall. The regeneration schemes are not guaranteed. Your capital appreciation is not guaranteed. Cash flow, yes, is. But then if no schemes, population doesn't increase, you can't fill it up, your rent doesn't go up because it's all demand and supply.
I like that question. I like that. So let me give an example. Before I get to that example, I'll tell you something then. The regeneration people talk about is mainly government stuff, right? Government says, I'm going to invest, I'm do that, regenerate it. Let's be honest. What project has the government ever completed? Tell me. HS2 scrapped.
In Birmingham, it's still on.
It's still on. It hasn't finished yet, right? So that's why Birmingham Council went bankrupt, right? So guess what's going to happen? They're going to pull that back, right? So I do not invest based on speculation. I invest in a way that heads I win, tails I don't lose, right? It has to work for me in today's market, not the future market. If it comes, brilliant, I'm happy. It's more benefit to me.
It's a bonus.
Exactly. I'm not going to say, I'm going to buy property because I know the government or there's regeneration going on. How if that did not happen? What then? People that bought properties near HS2, now they're losing all. Some of them are selling their properties now because it's not happening anymore. Right? So I don't invest based on speculation or original. It has to work for me with my rules. And now you may be asking, if it's regeneration, let's say it happens now, right? Let's look at the positive side of things. So do you think if the regeneration happens here, what happens? More people will be coming here, right? So when this place overfull, I'll give you a cup. When this cup overfull, or this mug, guess what? The water will spill, right? When the water spills, where it goes, it's spread out. Mm-hmm. So if you're near here, you still get that. You might not get it the same time, but you get it here. And the beauty of doing it here, you're likely to buy it at discount. But here, everybody's fighting now. Property that worth 100,000 is going for 110,000, 115,000, 120,000, 140,000, 150,000. Because everything in this regeneration is happening. I've got an investor, give an example, who bought a property in Newcastle just before the recession, 2008. Government was doing some regeneration there. He bought the property for £240,000, 2-bedroom apartment, Newcastle City Centre, 2008. He could not sell that property for 70,000 last year.
Wow.
See? Right? So that's why I don't follow the mass. Because if everybody's doing it, you've already missed it. You're not buying that property at discount anymore. You're buying in the hope that it would go up. That's why you're buying it for now. It's not a discount. So just see it as a wave, right? When the wave is going, look where the wave is. Look at the direction where the wave is going. And you try to get to that place before the waves get there. Is it making sense? Mm-hmm. Because if the wave is already there, you've missed it. Especially if it's in the news. If it comes in the news, it becomes redundant. Because it already happened. It's a past. That's the reason why it's been in the news, right? I'll give an example now. I bought a property in a place called Neath in South Wales, not far from Cardiff, Port Talbot. I heard property price has gone up in Newport, right? I'd already bought properties in Newport. So what I did, I bought properties in Neath because I know the wave. Neath is between Swansea, Cardiff. And Newport is between Bristol and Cardiff, right? So I now know after Cardiff is going to be Swansea, right? Because Swansea is second city. Guess where I went? I went to Neath, which is 3 miles away from Swansea. You see, I'm not in the city centre. Guess what? Bought properties there. They're all no money left in deals, plus more money to put in the pocket. That's how I invest.
Out of curiosity, if you're traveling across, how many miles a year do you travel?
Well, I don't travel a lot. Back in the days I used to. Now I've got power teams that are doing stuff with me. Technology made it really easy.
Do they do your project management?
They do the project management. And I've got my project manager as well that manages project for my investors and myself. And I don't need to travel. If I have to travel, if I need to travel, I travel. Sometimes I like traveling because that's when I get to think. That's when I get to listen to my audiobooks, right? So I love traveling. But last 3 years before COVID, I used to travel a lot. But now I don't. I hardly travel. The only time I travel is when I've got my events. Or you know what? I just want to change the scenery, and then I try because I've got people working with me throughout the country. But another thing, just to touch on to your listeners, the reason why I don't buy properties in the bigger cities is that suppose we've got money to invest, right? Average house price in Birmingham is how much? Is it about 300,000 or 350? Average house price.
180, 250, between 180 and 250.
Okay. Average house price, right?
Not in the best locations.
No, let's just say, I think average house price in Birmingham is about 300,000, 350. If you're talking about the proper locations, right? So now, that's what you can buy a house. So 25 deposit, send 25% of a deposit of 300,000 is how much? That's about, how much? Do the maths.
25% of 300?
Yeah.
About 75,000.
No, it's more than that.
25% of 300 is about 75, 80,000.
Yeah, around that. Let's just say 100,000, just to get the figures right, yeah? So you need to put down a deposit of 100,000 to buy that one house in Birmingham, right? How much can you rent it? How much can you rent a property in Birmingham for?
3 bedroom, £1,000, 1,100, 1,200?
Let's say 1,200, right?
Okay.
Let's be a bit ambitious there. So with your £100,000 investment, you get £1,200 rent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's what you get every single month, right? Brilliant, it's good. It's good investment. But how about you move slightly away from Birmingham? Let's look at Dudley. Let's look at Walsall. Let's look at places around Birmingham, right? Average house price there is about £100,000 or so, right? So what you could do instead, you got £100,000 deposit to put down. You can go around Birmingham area, like these places I've just, Sandwell, places like that, buy this for 150,000 pounds. Let's say 100,000 just to get the figures right, for comfort. You got that 100,000 pounds you've got. You look for 100,000 pounds house, even if it's not in Birmingham. Let's just say smaller cities around the north or whatever it is, right? With that 100,000 pounds, if you want to buy a 100,000 pounds house, you only got 25% deposit to put. That's 25,000 pounds, right? So what you do then, with that 100,000, you can buy yourself 4 houses. Okay? So with those 4 houses, and the beauty about this, the rent doesn't correlate with the value of the house. Let's say now, those houses, you can rent them for £1,000 each. You got 4 houses, times that by 4, how much? £4,000 versus £1,200.
Absolutely, and you've got capital appreciation on 4 properties as well.
And the beauty about that, because the properties are in different areas, capital appreciation wouldn't be the same. Some will be 10%, some will be 12%, some will be 15%, some will be 8%. But when you add all that, you make more in capital appreciation as well as rent. Is this making sense?
Absolutely.
That's how I invest.
I feel you've thrown a lot of golden nuggets, Rahim.
Thank you.
Really appreciate having you on the show.
Yeah.
If the audience want to get in touch with you, which I'm sure they will, what is the best way they can get in touch with you?
So where I hang out mainly is Instagram. It's Rahim Bah Properties, RAHIMBAH, Bravo Alpha Hotel Properties plural. You can follow me on Instagram. And if you like my content, also we have YouTube channel that we started to grow. We're trying to push that a lot. And it's Rahim Bah as well. So if you type that on YouTube, hopefully you will see me up. And obviously, if you want to reach out, Instagram will be your best bet. Facebook as well is Rahim Bah. my name. And so these are the best places where you can contact me on.
Amazing. Rahim, thank you so much for coming once again.
Thank you, bro.